And we're back, and it's COMP2068 in the winter 2016 semester, week 1, lesson 1, part 3 of our broadcast. Again, we'll be doing the recording later on. So again, what we just had a little bit of troubleshooting we've installed Git for the most part. I think everyone is good now. And we've got Visual Studio Code installed, right? We need those two parts. So let's set up our first project here to get started with our environment. And what I'd like you to do is, I'm going to set up a new project called COMP2068. We'll use the W2016 lesson 1 format as a folder somewhere on your desktop. Okay, so just choose your desktop just to make it easy so we can play around, and right-click, new folder. Either Windows or Mac, it doesn't matter, it should be similar. And I'm just going to call it COMP2068, and we're going to use winter 2016 just to differentiate ourselves. And we're going to say lesson 1. Okay, so that's our folder, and the way Visual Studio works, Visual Studio Code, is what you do with it is you drag and drop. So I start off Visual Studio Code, and I want to work on COMP2068, and I'm just going to drag this folder, blank as it is, into the right pane of Visual Studio Code. Right? There you go. So this is my Visual Studio Code. Here we go. So notice how there's 3 component panes, if you will. One of them is this button bar on the left. There is the file. Each one of them is context sensitive. So if I click here, this is the file explorer area, right? Here you can search for certain things. This one is your connection to Git. And if you install Git correctly, guess what it shows you? Initialize Git repository. If it doesn't show you that, something's still not right with your system, right? So that's what it should show you, initialize Git repository. The last one is your debugging area, which we're going to get to later on in this course. So there's like 4 buttons to choose from. Okay, the top button that we're looking at right now is where we want to start. And I want to create a folder structure for you. It's not going to be a node folder structure right now. I want you to learn the environment. So all we're doing is learning about Visual Studio Code. Like you're going to use this instead of Sublime or brackets or whatever. So to make this your own, you have to kind of do some basic things. Let's do some basic things together first. Okay, so one thing is, if you notice, if you hover over the project, I can get a couple of icons. One is add a new folder or add a new file. Let's add a new folder. This is the one way to do it. And the folder we're going to call this thing. The first folder is scripts. Right, so we're going to put some of our. If I can rename that. Name scripts. Right. Another folder, click away from scripts. If you have it highlighted, it'll appear underneath scripts. But so click away from it, and then right-click somewhere over here and try that new folder. Right? And we'll call this content. And so scripts. It's called scripts. Not script, scripts and content. Okay. So those are the 2 folders we're going to use for front-end development. So if you're going to do just Angular, scripts and content will do you fine. If we're doing Node, totally different folder structure. But for now, let's just start like this. And there's a reason for my madness, so bear with me, all right? Okay, so in my content, we're building a web page. I want to put an app.css file inside my content folder. So let's do that. So right-click on your content folder and put new file. And we're going to just kind of type in app.css, because that's where our CSS is going to be. And if you notice on the right, it appears that it shows app.css is the one we're focusing on, right? So let's put in some comments. We'll say, custom styles is what's going to happen here, right? And we're going to save that. Custom styles. Okay, cool. Let's put in under scripts, right? Under scripts, let's add in another file that we're going to call our app.ts under scripts, app.ts. And you're going to say, why TS, Tom? Why? Oh, I'm going to tell you why, because we're going to learn TypeScript in a second, and I'll show you what, when we learn TypeScript, we'll learn JavaScript at the same time. Okay, so app.ts, and notice on the right-hand side here, on the bottom, it shows TypeScript. It shows TypeScript as, what we're looking at down here, right? It's identifying the type of file by the extension. So TS TypeScript. Okay. So with TypeScript that we've got going on over here, right? I can't do anything with TypeScript. I can't compile TypeScript. I can only compile JavaScript in the browser, right? So I have to transpile. This is our next hurdle we're going to get to, right? I talked about hurdles. This is now number 2. Okay, so I want to install some piece parts to this thing in order for me to be able to transpile TypeScript into JavaScript with Visual Studio Code. That's why we're using Visual Studio Code, right? So I want you to right-click away down here in the pane, and I want you to open in Terminal or Command Prompt if you're a Windows user. It's going to bring up your version of Command Prompt or Terminal. Now remember, we should have access to npm because you've installed Node, yeah? So try this out. Try npm -v. And if you get 3.53 or higher, you're good to go. What version do you get? And if it doesn't work, that's another thing you got to fix on the environment variables, maybe, right? And you already know how to fix npm. You already know how to fix Git. You should know how to fix npm. Huh? npm space -v. What is yours? Okay, you're good. Anything 3 and above is good. What's yours? Can you go over what? Oh, yeah. So you mean over here, content? Oh, yeah. So all you do is you go to plus to create your folder. You create your content folder, and then you right-click, and you go new file. All right? Okay. So if you've got npm and it's working, who does not have npm working? Anyone? Okay, you guys have some trouble. It means you haven't installed Node properly, or you have to go into your environment variables, like we talked about, and fix npm Node. So make sure that npm is available on the command prompt. So I would look up Google. I would Google npm on the command prompt for Windows, and it'll give you a solution. It'll be like, go here and check in npm. It's probably going to be on program files. If I was going to do it on the Windows side, I guarantee this is where npm is installed. If I go to C, and I go to program files, and if I look down here, somewhere down here, you've probably got Node.js, yeah? Under program files, not program files x86, program files. Under Node.js, you have node.exe. This is your path you have to add into your environment variables. So go back there, add another semicolon, and put this path, right-click, copy address as text, and put that path into your environment variables. Okay? That's the fix for npm. Are you good? All right. For those of you who are not good, fix your problem, right? Well, I'm sorry, but we're going to have a lot of these, right? So, yes. Are you still having trouble? What's the trouble that you have? What's your trouble? Here? What's your version? npm space -v. Huh? Does it work? You have a problem with your environment variables. All right. I'm moving on. And at the next break, I'll come around and fix anybody who's got a problem, okay? And for the most part, if you see somebody who's got a problem, can I get someone else to help them? Because there's no way I can run this and then do that at the same time. It just won't happen. Okay, so we've got npm. npm, if you don't have npm, you can't do the next part. That's why I'm doing this, right? So here's the next part. I want to install TypeScript, right? And what is TypeScript anyway? So I'm going to go to TypeScript. There's a couple of ways you can get it. I'm going to go to typescriptlang.org, typescriptlang.org. And if I click download, you notice that there is npm I is for install. So npm install -g for global TypeScript. That's what you have to type. And it looks like this on the command line. So npm install -g TypeScript. That's what you want to type in. And then press enter. Okay? You can't do transpiling in Visual Studio Code without this. Okay? Now the next problem. We're gonna pause after this. Okay? And I'll tell you why this is going to be a problem. Because your Visual Studio 2013, 2015 might have TypeScript installed with a version of 1.030. Right? If you have that problem, we're gonna have to work to fix that one, right? Because you need a version of 1.7 or higher, right? And it's what I'm gonna get. So if I go npm, if I go to TSC, which is the TypeScript, minus V, I'm going to get TypeScript 1.75, right? 1.7.5. If you get a TypeScript version after you install TypeScript of 1.030 or something like that, you're never going to be able to transpile on Visual Studio Code, right? You're going to have to fix it. And the way to fix that is to fix Visual Studio, right? Because Visual Studio is in control of your TypeScript version. So let me know when you're ready. Who's got this running? And what version do you have? Anyone have a low version, like 1.03 or something weird? You do? Yeah, you're going to have trouble. I don't mean to laugh at you. I'm saying you're going to have trouble. This next piece isn't going to work for you, and I'm going to have to pause to fix you, right? That's what I'm saying, right? So if anyone has a version of 1.75, are you okay? 103? So who else has 103? 1, 2, anyone else over there? You have 103? What is it? Bad. All right, so again, because you have Visual Studio 2013 or 2012 or 2015, you had a version of TypeScript, but it's old, and we have to upgrade it to version 1.75, right? So the thing to type in to fix it, right, is Google upgrade. TypeScript on the command line is different than it is in I install 1.75. You have to Google it to figure out what it is, right? And we'll try that in a second. But I want to show for the people, for the majority of you, I think you're okay, right? 1.75? Okay. So I'm going to go with the majority for now, and then I'll pause, and I'll fix everyone else at the break. We'll take a kind of a 10-minute break, okay? Okay, so what do I do with TypeScript? If I have TypeScript working, then I can transpile. And this is how I want to set up my project now. Outside of these two files, I want to create a single file called tsconfig.json. All right, so right-click, new file, and we're going to type in tsconfig.json and press enter. Okay, tsconfig is our TypeScript configuration. That's what it is. And the JSON is JavaScript object notation format that we're going to hold in our files, okay? If I press Control space, you're going to see no suggestions now at this point, right? But if I press a curly brace and press enter and press Control space, I'm going to get something like compiler options. Tell me that you get this. Press enter. You'll have this. Now, what we're doing is we're configuring the compiler to what version of JavaScript we want to transpile our TypeScript into. The current version of JavaScript is ES6, but not many browsers support it right now. ECMAScript 6, right? Or JavaScript 2015. Most browsers support ES5, ECMAScript 5. So that's the target of our transpilation, right? So we're going to say target, and we're going to choose ES5. Okay? Next line, you're going to put a comma. And the next line, you're going to choose module. And there's different ones. Make sure it's module, not module resolution. Module is common.js. And the last piece is your source map. We're going to type map. And you're going to go up to source map and press enter. And you're going to change the false to true. And you're going to save this file. This is your configuration for your server. So this is the compiler options that you're going to change, right? So whenever we do TypeScript, you're going to have to put this file like this into your project. Guys, do not worry. Am I going to expect you to remember this for next week? No, right? But you're going to see it a bunch of times, and this is not the last time we're going to do this. Over and over again, you're going to see TypeScript. Once you have one file you could reference, you can look at this file online on GitHub, and you can do it again, no problem, right? But for now, this configuration is what I want you to do. Okay, next thing I want you to do. On the Mac, for the Mac, the single Mac user that I got, and me, that's right. It's Command-Shift-B. Try Command-Shift-B on the Mac. What does it give you? Command-Shift-B. Leave it there for a second. I'll show you this in a second. For the Windows users, the majority of you, Control-Shift-B. If you're using the machine in front of you, it might give you some weird crap. I'm sorry to say it. I'm talking about the school machine, right? So be prepared for some weird thing. Control-Shift-B. What does it give you? It should say Task Runner, right? If I go Command-Shift-B, it'll look like this. Configure Task Runner, right? Okay. This is where we configure a task runner to do our compilation for us on Command-Shift-B or Control-Shift-B. When I when I hit Control-Shift-B, it's going to automatically transpile within Visual Studio from JavaScript to TypeScript automatically with our map file. So we don't have to do a lot of work, okay? So let's try this out. Let's configure this thing. So I click Configure Task Runner. Okay, let's get rid of all this crap. I don't need this, all right? And I don't need this little extra pane over here, this output pane, okay? And I'm going to get rid of everything after this last brace. Okay, so all I have is this right now. Let's get rid of this little space too, why not? Okay, let's get rid of all this comments, but look what it says here in this first comment on line 4. It says, the command is TSC. Assumes that TSC has been installed using npm install TypeScript. That's why I made you guys do that. If you can't do npm install -g TypeScript, and if it's not a version of 1.75 or 1.7, no matter what I do here, it's not going to help you. You have to fix it, okay? So let's get rid of this. And 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 in here where it says arguments, let's get rid of the hello world and the quotation space. Okay? And get rid of all this. And that's what you should be left with and save. This is our task runner. So what is this doing? It's saying, well, my TSC command is a command on the shell, right? On the command prompt, basically, or terminal, right? And every time I do, I run a Command-Shift-B on the Mac or Control-Shift-B on the Windows machine, the majority of you, it will transpile or convert all files with a TS extension to a JS extension, so you can use that. Okay, let's try it out. So I have my scripts file, before I try this out, on my app.ts is empty, right? Let's try writing a simple command. So I'm going to okay, that's in my app.ts. I'm going to save this file, and then I'm going to press Command-Shift-B on the Mac or Control-Shift-B on the Windows, and you should see this little tiny thing happen on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen where it spins to show that it transpiles. And then you're going to get 3 files if it was successful: JS, TS, and JS map. Who does not have those? Probably the guy in the back who has that weird 103, and you probably too, that doesn't have this thing as well, right? If you don't have these 3 files, if you don't get the JS file, the map file, then it's because of your command line. It's not because of VS Code, right? Your command line for Visual Studio, if your Visual Studio 2013, 2015 install has corrupted your command line, and you got to fix it. You have to look it up on Google. There's a fix for it. And what you can do is you can reset or repoint, probably with the environment variables, right? Your TypeScript configuration to point to the TypeScript you just installed. Okay, that's what you need to do. Cool. So what have we done here? Take a look at the JavaScript output that we get. We get TS, and we get a JS. Right here it is, right? And it's identical because TypeScript is JavaScript. It'll run JavaScript like normal, right? But what TypeScript gives us is code hinting. It's code hinting that we want, right? For Node is what we're talking about, right? Okay, let's see some of that. All right, I want to install some front-end stuff now, and I want to wrap my stuff around. I need an index.html file, yeah? So I can't do anything with the web without that on the front end. So I'm going to right-click and add in a new file, and we're going to call this thing index.html. There it is. Okay, it's pretty blank, and you know where I'm not going to start from scratch. I'm going to go to getbootstrap.com. Here's getbootstrap, and I'm going to go to getting started, and I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to scroll down to here where there is a basic template, and I'm going to copy this template, and I'm going to go into our VS Code and paste it. Okay, cool. So there's our template. We have a index.html file. We can't use it all. I'm going to delete some of it, or most of it. Let's delete some of the comments. And you know, I want to make more room, and I want to kind of collapse this middle section here. So how do I do that? I kind of hover my mouse over between the two, and it becomes a right and left arrow, and then I just pull to the left. So do that with VS Code, please. I want to get rid of these comments. So I don't care about this comment. I want to rename this from Bootstrap 101. I want to rename this thing to COMP2068 Winter 2016, like we did before, and it's going to be lesson 1. Right? I want to kill all this information and the Bootstrap file for a second. Let's just get rid of all that. And all of this. All I want is the hello world. And save, please. Okay, cool. So this is what you should have for your index.html right now. And if you don't, get there, please. All I did was pull down a template from Bootstrap. I didn't want to type it by hand. That's all I'm doing. I'm trying to save us some time. I just wanted to get a little code snippet here and put it down. Okay, cool. So there's a little code snippet. And, well, you know what? I could go up into Bootstrap. I want to include Bootstrap, and I want to have Font Awesome, and I want to have all these really cool technologies at my fingertips. But you know what? I'd have to go to each website, including jQuery, to get everything. I need some kind of front-end package manager to help me out here, right? And we're going to install Bower to do that. So this is the next installation, right? So go into your command line. I told you this is going to be all day, right? So we're going to go into our command line here. Here's our terminal, which is relative to our project. And if you don't know where to get that again, if I open this piece up again by left-clicking and pulling it across, you can right-click here and open in terminal. All right, or in command prompt for Windows users, which will pull this up. I want to do this, npm install -g Bower. And what Bower is, right, and press enter. What Bower is a, if I was to show you Bower is a package manager for the web. It's the most popular package manager for front end. For the web, not back end with npm. npm does the back end, Bower does the front end, right? But we have to load it with npm. Okay, so grab Bower, and in order for us to install it again, it's when we look at it, it's npm install -g Bower. Okay. This will not work if GitHub is not installed properly. Just FYI, it'll give you a GitHub can't be found error or something weird like that. That's why I went on. And we got that GitHub working first thing. Because without that, we can't do this. Without GitHub, we can't do Node. Without Node, we can't do TypeScript. Without TypeScript, we can't get code hinting. And then you guys are going to go crazy with me when we do Node. Because Node, there's no code hinting. You don't know what the hell I'm doing. Right? So, yeah. See what I'm saying? So this is all ancillary technologies that I'm trying to ramp up here. And for the gentleman that's late, I'm crying tears of pain for you, buddy. Right? Tears of pain. Right? When I saw you walk in, I was like, oh, man. Not because I don't like you, right? But because you got all kinds of pain to do. You got to watch some videos, right? All right. So, okay, npm install -g Bower. We got this. Anyone not able to install Bower at this point for some reason or other? Why not?
I'm pretty sure I'm back to the problem at the very beginning.
The Git problem? Can someone please help this gentleman? Pop over and help him out, right? And we'll take a short break afterwards. Okay, so we've got Bower installed. Everything is fantastic. Let's add in some stuff for Bower. And the first thing you want to do when I install Bower, okay, I'll tell you right now, before we do anything on the command line, is back into the project. Let's go back to the project. I want to install something called a Bower RC file. It's a control file, actually. Okay, so I'm going to right-click here, right-click, and add a new file, and it's going to be a dot, starting with a dot, Bower RC, and press enter. Okay. So why? Because I don't want Bower to go to its default folder, all the components. I want them to go to a folder I specify, right? So if I press Control Space again, I get no suggestions. But if I go to press an open brace and enter, and then I press Control Space, I get a bunch of suggestions. And what I want to do is I want to choose directory. So I want my directory for Bower to be different than Bower components. Bower components is the default directory where all the components from Bower go when you download them. I don't want that. I want it to go to scripts lib. So it's going to be scripts lib. That's where Bower is going to go. And I want to save that. Okay, now that I've got this scripts lib, this tells Bower that inside my scripts folder, we're going to create a lib folder where all of my libraries are going to go, right? When I download them with Bower with this front end manager. If I don't put them there, right? And I put them in Bower components. And every time you add something to your path, it's going to be Bower components / blah, blah, blah. This way, it'll just be scripts lib. And it's a little bit easier. And it's buried inside your path a little bit. All right, so let's go back to terminal or command prompt. And now we're going to install our first packages. This is how you do it first, though. You have to do a Bower init initialization. So we're going to say Bower init. And it's going to ask me, it's going to put me through this little wizard. It's going to ask me a question. It's going to say, what do you want to call the name of your project? I don't want to call it COMP2068, you know, this thing in uppercase. I want it all lowercase for us. So let's do that. Let's just convert it. COMP2068 dash W2016 dash lesson lowercase, all lowercase, 01, and press enter. And the reason for that is because most modern implementations don't allow you to put uppercase, just FYI. All right, and then I just want you to accept everything from here. Just go enter, 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 and enter. And what this does is it creates a bower.json file here. The bower.json file that it creates, it keeps track of a couple things. It creates an ignore path for node modules, Bower components, scripts lib, tests, all kinds of other stuff that's built in. It gives me an authors, and later on we can run this Bower init again. And what it's going to do is we can add in our path for our GitHub as well. Nothing. Just enter, 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 enter. Don't worry about that for now. Well, we'll go in more detail about that later on in the course. Right now, it's not necessary. Just get Bower working. Okay. So now that you got Bower working, here's our first Bower component. I want to load in jQuery. Right? That's a common component, right? Instead of me going to the website, I got to go to jQuery, download jQuery, drag it in, install it in my file, connect it to my file. All those things have to happen. Well, with Bower, all you have to do is this. Bower install jQuery -- save. The -- save saves my requirement inside my bower.json file so that next time I install Bower, I can just do a Bower install and I've got it. So again, it's Bower install jQuery -- save. -- save, if you notice what it did, in my Bower file, here's my Bower file, right? My bower.json file, if everything goes well, it'll keep track of my jQuery. So if I go here, notice how jQuery is a dependency, right? Here it is, Bower install jQuery -- save. Okay, and that's what it gives you. It gives me a dependency of jQuery. It says, you know what? I need jQuery at least of 2.2. Right? Now you can specify a version of jQuery if you want to. So what did it do physically? Fine, it did this, but it also went in and created a libs folder and put jQuery in there for me. Right? That's way easier than you getting it yourself. Like tons way easier. But you can't get Bower working unless you have Git working, unless you have NPM working, unless you have all this other stuff working. I feel sorry for you, man. I really do. I feel really bad. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Let's do the next one. So in order for me to run Bootstrap, I need jQuery and I need Bootstrap. So let's try that. So I'll clear the screen for you guys so you can see it. And I'll say Bower install, right? And again, it's going to be Bootstrap -- save. Enter. I'm going to go to the web, grab the latest version of Bootstrap, and put it into its place. And it's going to check to see that we have a requirement of jQuery 2.2 as well. Okay, cool. So let's check to see if it went there. So here it is, lib, Bootstrap, and here's jQuery, and its own little files. Yeah.
Can you give a break after this?
No. Yes. One more, and then I'll take a break. Yeah.
Ours aren't installed.
Hey, isn't this pain? Don't you feel the pain? I love the pain. Let's just one more time. I'll do one more so you can see it. Bower install. I want font awesome as well, and then I'll come around and fix everybody. Font awesome -- save. Go out, grab font awesome, pull it down, put it into its place. Font awesome. And if you notice what it does is if I go back to bower.json, it has all the dependencies for jQuery, Bootstrap, and font awesome. I'm gonna stop now. We'll take a break. Let's take 10, 15, let's say, and then when we come back, I'll try and fix all your problems in the break. Okay? So let me do that.